What is the right percentage that somebody should take out every year in retirement? Is that even something that should be calculated? Thanks for joining us here on Aspire to Retire with Ralph Short, Tim Short, and Scott Earhart of Welcome Home Financial Partners. You can find them online, welcomehomefp.com. We made it pretty easy for you. You got the podcast open. Just click on the description. It's right there. You can click right through to the website as well as all their social media, welcomehomefp.com. My name is Chris Vaughn, and as always, I'm pleased to be joined by Ralph Short, Tim Short, and Scott Earhart. Gentlemen, glad to be with you. How are you doing?
Good. Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm actually really excited by this one because I know you guys are pretty passionate about this one. I think it's a pretty interesting story. Hopefully have a little bit of fun with it. A story over on Morningstar looked at two financial media stars and their advice about retirement withdrawals. Dave Ramsey, known for his frugality, he recently drew attention by saying it's okay to take out 8% a year on a $500,000 portfolio, assuming an annual return of 12%. I'm sure we're going to touch on that. But on the other hand, Susie Orman, she says a 3% withdrawal, no more than 4%. So you got two widely varying numbers there. What do you think? Is there a number, or is it time to throw out these percentages?
What I would say to anybody that is looking to retire and they gather information, you can have information that might be accurate. There might be information that is misinformation. You can get it from the internet. You can get it from books. You can get it from TV stars or whatever you want to call them. Here's what I'm going to ask you. You need to understand there's differences between a financial professional, a fiduciary, and let's say, are they personalities? Mm-hmm. Are they qualified to give the advice that you need to make the best plan for you? Because number one, they don't know what you're trying to accomplish. How do they know exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish if they don't meet you? Yes, you can sit there and buy a book that's $40 or $50 that if you don't take that information and put it into place, what good is it? Mm-hmm. You can have a plan that you paid $10,000 for, and if you don't put it into place, it's not going to do you any good. So what I would say to everybody is they need to find somebody that they can relate to that can understand what you're trying to do, map out a plan that allows you to do that. Is 12% return doable in certain situations? That might be possible. But for an 80-year-old, I don't think I would suggest that. But if you listen to everybody on the TV, the internet, everything like that, everybody's got a different opinion. It's kind of like the weatherman. They're going to tell you what they think might happen, but you won't know that until you get to the next day when you step outside the door. So can you afford to wait to see if the plans that they're promoting to you is going to be in your best interest and is going to do the things that you want to do if they don't know anything about what you want to do or your goals and aspirations?
And there's people who are just doing it to sell books, right? So, hey, the more we talk, the more we sell books, the more people buy into it, the better off they're going to be, not the client. So, Chris, let me ask you this. If everybody who walked through our office door, we told them the same exact thing every time, do you think we'd still be in business? Do you think everybody would be successful?
Probably not, no.
Exactly. So that's the same thing, right? So you can't just blast out over the airwaves, hey, you can pull out 8% because you're going to have an annual return of 12%. Well, that would be beautiful if 12% return was there.
Yeah.
But there's going to be good years, there's going to be bad years, but at the end of the day, you've got to focus on yourself and not just the masses.
The other thing I would say, too, is this. Over the decades that I've been around, we have a lot of different personalities that comes along. They don't stay there. Back in the 80s, it was Vanita Van Caspel. Then it was the Gibbons approach. And now we have Orman and we have Ramsey and all that. Some of that personality, they get some newsworthy events that may not be as positive as you might want it to be.
Hey, Chris, I thought he said he hadn't been on this earth that long. He went all the way back to the 80s. That was a great decade.
That was a good
I'm
decade.
not going to touch that. I'm not going to touch that joke at all. I'm going to leave that alone.
It's all in the mind, boys. It's all in the mind.
I think, and I'm going to give a really declarative answer here. I think they are both right, and I think they are both wrong. I mean, retirement is not a one-size-fits-all deal. As Tim was saying, the same thing doesn't apply to everybody. I will need different things in my retirement as compared to what Chris will need, what Tim will need, what Ralph will need. Everybody's a unique person, unique circumstances, and your retirement plan has to fit that. It's not you come in and we stuff you into a plan and you adjust to that plan. The plan needs to adjust to you, to what you want, to what you need. It can't be a one-size-fits-all approach.
So are you telling me that my budget for golf balls is going to be a lot less than your budget for golf balls?
Actually, I'm going to tell you it's going to be a lot higher, buddy. I don't need to buy nearly as many.
Lose more. Yeah. But yeah, so back to the percentages, you can't just throw, hey, you can get 3%, 4%, 10%, 12%. You need to focus on what you can control, and you need to have a fully holistic approach when it comes to your retirement plan. So you've got to take a look at protected growth strategies, leaving some money in the market, long-term care. There's a lot that comes into it.
There is a certain irony, and I'm aware of it, and I think the guys are aware of the fact that, we're talking about these personalities, people who have podcasts, and the fact that you are listening to us here on this podcast. But there is a difference. Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, the Jim Cramers of the world, the people who are on TV, they're there to entertain, and they are personalities. They are very much that. They are to cover as many bases as possible, whether it is for the sake of being contrarian, whether it is for the sake of selling books. It's about ratings and things like that. But like Ralph said, like the weatherman, here's the thing. If they are wrong, it doesn't really affect them one way or another. That is why we give general advice here, but we really do urge people to seek out the advice of professionals beyond that to see how it pertains to them specifically. And then hopefully you work with someone who is a fiduciary acting in the client's best interest to really customize that plan for you. Because as they said, it is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's not a cookie-cutter approach. You should be wary of anything like that. It's like if you're looking for a pair of running shoes and you go to the Nike store, what are you going to end up with? You're going to end up with a pair of Nikes. But if you go to, an actual running store, something where they've got a wide variety and they can factor in, the arch of your foot and your gait and things like that, they can find what's going to work best for you. And that is really what you want in retirement, because it doesn't matter what Dave Ramsey's retirement looks like or your neighbor's retirement looks like. I think what you're most concerned with is yours. So, just by listening to this episode, you're showing that you're taking your retirement planning seriously. You're curious about it. The next step, of course, I think, is reaching out to the team and letting them put a plan together for you specifically. WelcomeHomeFP.com is how you do that. You can go online there. You can click the link in the website, or in the podcast description. It'll take you right over there to the website to also find out more about them, find out more about the First Friday events and all the links to the social media, WelcomeHomeFP.com. So again, be wary. Maybe take the advice that these personalities give with a grain of salt, but then seek out somebody local, somebody acting in your best interest, and figure out how it's going to work best for you. What do you think of that advice? Is that safe to say, you think?
Yeah, I believe so. I think you got to go to the professional. You can't rely on water cooler talk. You can't rely on somebody who says the same thing every time. It's got to be tailor-made to you, because everybody's in a different situation. Whether it's siblings, parents, whatever the case may be, everybody is unique.
And I'd say there's a big difference between, meeting somebody in 2D on a television screen and actually sitting across a table from them. The biggest part of our process is not, how much do you have? It's who are you? What do you want? We want to get to know you. We want to know what you want for yourself, for your family. And then our job, once we understand that, is to apply your retirement funds to help you achieve those goals.
And I don't think we have any two clients that has the same aspirations, have the same goals, has the same amount of money to deal with. Everything is individual. How do we get you to where you need to go? That's why we have the roadmap process.
So again, you know where you start and you know where you want to be with the roadmap, and the path is going to look a little different, and that is okay. But the important thing is that you have that plan put in place. The team at Welcome Home Financial Partners, they can help you craft that plan and maintain that plan to, through, and beyond retirement. All it takes to get started, going to welcomehomefp.com. Make sure you open up the podcast description, follow right there at the website, the links to all the social media. Be sure to like and subscribe. And thank you for joining us here on Aspire to Retire with Ralph Short, Tim Short, and Scott Earhart. Hope you have a great week ahead of you. Gentlemen, always appreciate the time. And as we go, want to leave you with the final word here.
Thanks as always, Chris. So final word today is just, if any of this is plucking a nerve, if you've been following a boilerplate retirement plan and you want to see what other options are available, or if you're doing things right, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out by phone. Check out one of the events around town. There's a lot of information on the website. Thanks again.
All content is for information purposes only. It is not intended to provide any tax or legal advice or provide the basis for any financial decision, nor is it intended to be a projection of current or future performance or indication or future results. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of Welcome Home Financial Partners and Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC. The information contained in this material has been derived from sources believed to be reliable, but is not guaranteed as to accuracy and completeness and does not purport to a complete analysis of the materials discussed. All information and ideas should be discussed in detail with your individual advisor prior to the implementation. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstance. Advisor services are offered by Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Virginia. Being registered as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Insurance products and services are offered through WPI Holding, Virginia Insurance License Number 138509, an affiliated company. The information contained herein should in no way be construed or interpreted as a solicitation to sell or offer to sell advisory services to any residents of any state other than the state of Virginia or where otherwise legally permitted. Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC and Welcome Home Financial Partners are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency.